Right then, welcome to my review of Cabin in the Woods. This is a review for you, decided by you. If you don't know what the format is, basically what I'm doing is I post up a poll on Twitter. Last week's was a poll based on Korean movies, and this week was two cheesy horror movies, and I thought you would have chose the better one. But unfortunately, it's Cabin in the Woods. It was between Cabin in the Woods and Dog Soldiers, and I really wanted to do Dog Soldiers, but never mind. I'm probably going to talk about that at the end. So, for those of you that don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Cabin in the Woods is actually a really quite good movie. It's not that bad at all. It is very tongue-in-cheek. You've even got the likes of Chris Hemsworth in it doing a very good comedic role, and it's essentially five, six friends bugger off to a cabin in the woods. I know, amazing play on words with the title there, and stuff goes astray. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, I am going to go into some slight spoilers, but it's been out for so long. What are you doing? Why haven't you seen it? There are some very large twists that come around at the end, and really, they are actually quite well done. They really are. The movie on a whole is really quite well put together. It's not what it appears to be. Now, when I watched this movie initially, I wasn't aware at all what this film was. I had no idea. And I think that really does benefit when you go into this. If you don't know it, please switch off now, because I am going to talk about the spoilers. So basically, five friends bugger off to a cabin in the woods, and mystic things start happening. Mystic, supernatural, monsters, everything, you name it, it starts happening. You've got zombies, you've got werewolves, you've got a thing that looks like the basilisk from Harry Potter. And it's all being done because these people were chosen to be sacrificed, basically, to the old gods or the old demons or whatever. And it's really quite well put together. It's a quite smart film. It's not massively scary, but it's not really supposed to be. It doesn't broadcast itself as something that is terrifying, and you get a real sense of that when they first start showing the monsters and obviously the people who are releasing the monsters. And there are essentially two stories here. You've got the group of friends as they're looking to survive and beat these monsters and demons and beasts and whatever. And then you have the side of it which is very bureaucratic and pencil pushery, and the office side to it. And the office side to it is actually incredibly well done and incredibly well acted. And if you're looking for a film which has style and substance, it really does. It really does have style and substance. It's put together in a really smart way. The sets are incredibly well done. Absolutely incredibly well done. There's nothing in it which really looks cheap and tacky and really poorly constructed, which by comparison, the type of film that it is, you would actually expect that to be the case, which is a massive credit to this film. Now, a lot of people have always asked me whether I would be interested in doing a breakdown of the creatures in this movie. There's nothing really to break down. They don't have backstories, but there are so many creatures in this movie. And again, really well done. They are very much play on tropes of other movie monsters. Now, there's even a Pinhead-esque character which has and holds a puzzle box type of item. The Tooth Fairy, the little girl Tooth Fairy, fantastic character. But again, there's nothing really to break down. But what they've done, and what I find really smart about the creation of these creatures, is that they've taken something which is very generic, something which you have seen before, and gone, how can we breathe a little bit of new life into this creature? I know we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And in doing so, they've created something which is really quite smart. They're showing you creatures which you are aware of, or stylistically things which you have seen reminiscent of before anyway, and then they've kind of just twisted it a little bit to cater it a little bit more to what they're trying to create, which I think is fantastic. But it always begs the question, where the hell do these creatures come from? And how long has this been going on for? It's a really smart film. It's well acted. Chris Hemsworth is fantastic in it. All the cast, to be perfectly honest, are very, very good. If you have not seen this film, you really do need to. It's well put together. The music is really good. The lighting, kind of from a technical aspect, is very, very good as well. The cinematography is great. It's not stellar. It's not absolutely standout. Make no mistake. But it is a well put together film. And in doing so, like I say, they've established something which is fantastic. And something which I genuinely think could have had a sequel, but they chose not to. And that is a credit to the filmmakers, because so many times do we have these films which come out and they're great. They are absolutely fantastic, but they are standalone stories. There's nothing else to it. They don't end in a way which really allows a sequel or is baiting a sequel, and they then make a sequel. An example of that in most recent years, and in fact this year, a few months now, is A Quiet Place. That film ends in a really, really good way, but they're already talking about a sequel. No, don't do it. And A Cabin in the Woods ends in a way which would have allowed it to have a good sequel and an interesting sequel, which would have progressed the narrative forward in a completely new way, but still a way which is going to invest you and kind of engage you in the story. But it wouldn't have been anything like what you would have seen in the first one, which is a good way to do a sequel, because it's not just retreading the steps of the original movie, it is progressing it forwards, and it is a new story. But they chose not to. They haven't done it, and it's a credit to the filmmakers, because they've seen the success the movie had and not chose to progress it, and that really is a credit to the filmmakers. Like I say, A Quiet Place doesn't need a sequel. Where's the sequel going to go? Is it going to be basically the same stuff? Pretty much. And yet they're already talking about a sequel. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about a movie which realistically doesn't need to have a sequel, but yet they are. There's no story further to tell. Obviously, with smart writers, any story is possible, but you know full well they're going to stick to the same format there. Whereas A Cabin in the Woods ended in a really great way and quite unexpected. You don't expect them to survive. You don't expect the old gods and demons and stuff to rise, because you think, yep, they're going to save the day, they're going to do it, they're going to save the day, and yet they don't, and they haven't followed that up with a sequel. And they could. That movie would be fantastic, and it would have my money, because it would be an interesting way to move the narrative forward, and it would not have been anything similar to the movie which we had seen. So guys, if you haven't seen A Cabin in the Woods, you really, really must. There are some brutal deaths, absolutely brutal. And if you have seen it, the unicorn, that gets my my massive thumbs up. That unicorn killing everyone, so good, so good. You couldn't ask for a more out there kind of monster at the end of the movie, and it worked really, really well. So if you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favour, go grab some beers, get some good food in, and watch A Cabin in the Woods, because it is a good film. It is fun, it is not scary, it is absolutely not scary. If you're afraid of Cabin in the Woods, you've got some problems. But do yourself a favour, because it's a fantastic piece of cinema. It's just good fun, it's harmless, and it's very tongue-in-cheek, but in a good way. And if you have seen it, do you agree with me? Do you agree with anything that I've said in this review? Drop your thoughts down below in the comment section. I know this is somewhat different and probably going to be jarring to a lot of people seeing my face. I know, oh my god. But I need to switch things up a little bit on the channel, and being a little bit more facially aware is part and parcel of that. So I'm sorry if this was jarring, I'm sorry if you didn't want to see my face, but you have. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. If you want to take part in the reviews decided by you, for you, head on over to my Twitter over at Mr. H Reviews, and there will be a poll coming up very, very soon for a new movie to be reviewed. Just as a kind of tail end here, the other movie which you didn't pick, and I was really surprised, was Dog Soldiers. And I just want to say, if you haven't seen Dog Soldiers, you absolutely must, because it's a awesome film. Like, it really is a great film, and I was very surprised that no one picked it. It narrowly escaped being reviewed, but I really, really do want to push that movie a little bit, and I will review it coming up in the future, because I love that film. It's a fantastic piece of British cinema. But if you haven't seen Dog Soldiers and you have seen A Cabin in the Woods, then off the back of this review, go and watch Dog Soldiers. You will not be disappointed. It's fantastic. So guys, please do leave this review a big thumbs up, give it a share. Again, sorry my face is in it, but it is what it is. I've got to be part of the channel a little bit more. It does help with promotions and moving the channel forwards. So, as always guys, I've been Mr. H. Until next time, I will catch you in the comment section.